All right, KMR, welcome back to the channel that talks a lot of brap. Just brap. If you like rotaries, definitely at the right place. I love rotaries. I am working on the fuel system on my FD3S show car that I built back in 2016, 2017. The car hasn't ran in a couple years, and I'm getting ready to get it ready for some dynoing, and I figured I basically I did the no-no. I let ethanol sit in a steel fuel tank since 2017, and it hasn't ran in 2 years. So not only is that not necessarily what people recommend to do, but then I also just let it sit around. So my personal thought was I potentially ruined my fuel tank, and obviously fuel pumps, fittings, everything would be questionable, because generally when the topic of ethanol, steel fuel tanks, compatibility, corrosion issues, that topic comes up, it's a pretty sensitive topic. It can even bring up, injectors and cleaning injectors. What does ethanol do? And I think generally, I always wonder, what long-term testing and sitting looks like. My experience with ethanol in the race cars is that it's actually very tolerable. I don't drain it. I don't have big issues. I service the injectors once a year. They're race cars. We're generally servicing most things once per year. So I haven't done a lot of long-term letting ethanol sit and test. And in this car I did. And I'd like to show everybody what the gas tank looks like. So I was expecting rust and goo and just an absolute disaster, because that's kind of what everybody says is going to happen. And it's actually gorgeous inside. It's really clean. We don't have any rust. There's no goo. There's no crystals. There's no debris. It's a remarkably clean tank. And it's really surprising because you can see, I was thinking it was about half full. It's less than half full. Some of the ethanol has evaporated, and it left a little bit of a white powder you can see here. It's not rust. It's not corrosion. I am going to flush the tank. I mean, I'm here. So we're going to give it a full flush. So I'm going to drain this old ethanol out that still smells okay, and put in fresh ethanol, because that's an obviously correct thing to do. And in that process, we'll flush the tank and just see if we get anything else. But I mean, I can't believe it. This is a steel tank ethanol for 2 years without starting, and longer if you've just counted when we started the project. Now, obviously, I have put fresh ethanol in it at times, so it's not, the same exact ethanol, and that brings up other interesting things about this. In rotaries, we do premix, so I've often thought that the premix is helping with that issue of ethanol being dry, and then really ethanol in America, or most ethanols that we race with, are blends. Generally I'm using like an E85 or E90. In this case, I've actually put E85 and E98 in it at different times, and the ethanol has come from different suppliers. So it did have Ignite, and at this point it probably had like FNL or VP or Sunoco or something like that. I think Sunoco, maybe, whatever I picked up locally. So it's had different companies' ethanol in it. And also, when we started this project, it was before I was running renewable lubricants. So this car originally got blended with Idemitsu, which isn't super compatible with ethanol. And then we switched to renewable, years ago when that hit the market. So again, this is kind of neat to see, because we can look in the tank and see that, it's sat and everything still seems mixed, or there's no big separation issues or anything like that. And I've ran different stuff in here without ever cleaning it. So, I mean, that's just overall, I just wanted to show what I was seeing. The rubber lines, which didn't say whether or not they were ethanol compatible, are okay. The AN fittings are okay. I am, the fuel pumps and everything looks okay. We did have some debris on the radium screen here. Nice setup, the radium in-tank FD3S pump setup. We've got it set up with 2 ethanol compatible 440s. It can house a third. And then we had 1 lift pump as well. So basically running a triple pump setup. I think with the power this car is capable of making, we may end up needing triple pumps for the fuel rail feed. But we're basically gonna clean it up, new fuel socks, clean the filter. If these pumps are working, I may run them, but they've been in there for so long, I may change them as well, just as a point of maintenance. We want to go to the dyno and have success. So it's kind of setting yourself up for success. But again, they don't look bad. Nothing's like super corroded. This has just been sitting in ethanol for years now. The hardware came out fine. Nothing's been stuck. Tubes aren't cracked. Overall, I'm pretty happy. And this is just my experience. I'd love to hear what people say. Everybody has different experiences. But I think I was expecting worse, and it actually all looks okay, so I'm really happy. Again, I am cleaning the injectors. It's just proper maintenance. It's been sitting around for too long, so we'll get the report back on that, send them over to RC Engineering, get them cleaned out, get a report back, and working with Radium to get some new pumps and some new screens, because we're going to hit the dyno. We're going to go have some fun. We're going to see what the car makes. We'll talk about it. Generally, just brap in, have a good time. But I thought it'd be cool to just talk about that hot topic of ethanol and premixes and fuel systems. And I'm not saying I've got the answers. I don't know why. This looks okay and maybe other people's don't. But at least for me, I think I got lucky, or maybe the premixes help, or just modern ethanol, being that it is blended, it's a cut fuel, just isn't nearly as bad as a lot of people make it out to be. And that's always been kind of my thought on it, is coming from racing, methanols and alcohols were extremely corrosive. But as we leaned into ethanol, it's always been like an E85, a blended, and it's not the same type of fuel. So it just has different characteristics. In my experience, it's it's not gasoline, but it's sure not as corrosive or difficult to work with as some of those other volatile fuels.